All right, so we just unboxed our COBRA Adder system powered by Jorg Sprav. So I've been a fan of Jorg Sprav for a while. All the stuff he's been messing with and making cool different types of, arrows, slingshots, all the cool stuff he's been doing. But he came up with this basically like a clip for the arrows so you can have 5 arrows at a time and it can automatically load them, which is super cool. This thing is super neat looking. Came with a red dot sight. I even got the green laser, which is pretty cool. Everything's pretty neat, but there are a couple little issues, and I'll go over those really quick. So one of the problems is you got to check all the arrows. So this one's fine. Most of them were loose, but look at this one. So the whole inside's coming out, and that's not going to work. So what I'll do, I think this type of glue isn't the right kind to use because it's a little bit brittle, and I think something would be better that is less brittle than this. But I don't have another glue, so I'm going to use this instead. So anyway, good idea to check all your arrows before you go out and do any shooting or anything like that. And this is a carbon fiber arrow. There's a little excess glue. Get rid of that. Anyway, we'll give that some time to dry before we do anything with it. But anyway, super cool little arrows. These ones come with a regular tip. I also got some bodkin tips, which look pretty aggressive and pretty neat, and a few extra arrows. That so far was really the only issue that I've seen with it. One of the other things that's kind of a little bit difficult is the red dot sight didn't have any instructions. I didn't see the battery, so I had to look for it, and I finally found it. I got a different CR2032, which is what it takes, and I was hoping that was going to work, but it works, which is cool. The laser sight was pretty easy to figure out. It took me a few minutes, but I figured it out. But I kind of wish that came with instructions. So they come with instructions. Our series comes with different instructions. Pretty self-explanatory if you've ever used a crossbow before. Don't dry fire it. That's really important. A lot of people do that. I had a crossbow when I was really young, and a friend of mine dry fired it and destroyed it, and I was like, what are you doing? But not everybody knows that, so it's something really important to tell anybody who you're going to show it to. Don't dry fire these. Don't dry fire anything, really. It's not really good for it. It comes with a pretty cool little tactical strap. Probably won't be using that very much. Here's another thing that I thought was a little bit cheesy. This is meant to go on here like this. And once it's in place, let me unscrew it so it goes in place right. Once it's in place, it's really flimsy. I mean, check this out. Like, I'm just barely pushing on that, and that's bending quite a bit. I can only imagine that would break off there pretty easy. So I'm not going to use that. I don't really want to have it on there. I kind of like this feel anyway. And make sure you turn off your red dot sight if you're not using it. But this is pretty cool. Check out the laser. It's really bright. You can see it on my wall over there. And that's another thing, is there's no instructions for any of the accessories that I bought with it. So I have no clue how to adjust this to get it to work. The red dot sight says up, right, and I'm assuming those are the adjustments for it. I don't know for sure, but I'm assuming they are. So I'm just going to mess with that later. But I've looked through, unless I didn't get instructions that should come with it, I don't have any instructions for the laser dot sight or the flashlight or any of those other bits. But I think I've pretty much figured it out. So I'll try and see if I can figure out how to angle it in, because I can tell when I turn it on that is nowhere near the center. Well, you know what? It really could be. Wow, maybe it is. Before I judge it, I'm going to take it out and shoot it. But one of the important things, it did come with some grease, which is really cool. I'm really glad that they did that, because that's super smart, is to have some rail lube. You can get away with a lot of stuff, even just a regular beeswax will work, but just make sure the rail is well lubed. The only problem with that is you'll probably want to lube your rail pretty frequently, and in the instructions I saw it said every 5 shots. Well, this whole thing on here has to come off every 5 shots to re-grease your rail, so that's not super ideal, but it doesn't come off very difficultly, so it's not a whole lot of difficulty here. You're just gonna make sure you unscrew this thumb screw, which I really like that. I like that it has a thumb screw, because that makes it a lot easier to do. And of course it doesn't have any of the bolts in it right now. And then this whole assembly slides forward and then comes off. That seems like that's a pretty important feature that somebody needs to look out for. So that's not super difficult, but if you have to do that every 5 shots, that would be, I don't know, a little annoying. But the fact that you can do 5 shots and carry them with you, that's pretty awesome. So let me put this back together. And I put together a little target earlier. And let's see if I can put this thing back together the way it's supposed to be. I think I might be doing something wrong. Don't like that. It's supposed to be on fire or safety. Anything specifically? Probably not. Oh, I see. This all goes inside when it's slid forward. And then when it slides down, just want to make sure that both of those rails are in and that the hole for the thumb screw is completely open. You wouldn't want to cross thread this, that would be a problem. Alright, well that's that. So I've got that in place. Yeah, I'm not gonna put this little hand deal on there. I feel like this is pretty comfortable already for me, and I think a hand thing on the front would be a little uncomfortable, plus it was pretty flimsy, but everything else I like. I think it looks super cool, and it says it's 130 pounds. Let's get this thing loaded up. So I just fixed one of these bolts with some glue, and I don't want to use that one right away. I'm gonna wait on that one. Give it some time to dry before I use it. But I think this is super cool. Awesome job, Georg Sprov, in coming up with this idea. He did like a Legolas deal where he had bolts made into the actual arrow, which I thought was really cool. So actually, let's take a look at that. Given a few minutes, that might have set up already. Yeah, it did. Super good. But we'll see how well that works out. I'll be able to tell the difference because I've stained the outer edge of this carbon fiber bolt already. So it says you can load 5 and you shouldn't load any more than that. So we're not going to. We're going to follow the rules. This is the action right here, which is pretty cool. You can tell that that's pretty smooth. It's going to be really neat. I can't wait to try it out. So that's what we'll do next. We'll take it out. And
all right, we're here with Chris Nelson, Clean Mechanical. All right, and Canon, obviously. But we check out the target we made. We just put a little bit of stuff together here, little chain action. We'll set it up with a good backdrop. Hopefully nobody gets hurt. That'll give us a good spot to shoot from.
all
right, so safety glasses are important. We'll check it out. So I haven't done any adjustments for the red dot side or anything. So we'll see how it works. But anyway, you unlock right here and open it up, go past the bolt and lock it back into place. And then you put it on fire because it's going to be on safety. Wow, I hit pretty hard. So the reason why I got this right here set up for our target is this is a 1-inch pine board. Actually, I think it's cypress, but that doesn't really matter that much. Pine and cypress are pretty close to each other, but that thing buried itself in there, and you can see it went all the way through, and that's not coming out. So that's a problem. That's not good. What are we gonna do? I bet you I can pound that out from the back, but I'll give Chris a chance to shoot it. I'm good. Come on, you want to shoot it? I'm okay. You want to see how easy it is? Get 130 pounds on here.
What are these gonna do?
Probably won't lose your eye. I have a safety shirt on.
Okay.
All right, ready?
Let me see you cock it again.
So
But when you do it, face it towards the ground instead of in the air.
I'll cock it for you. Okay, so it's unlocked. Go all the way past.
What's the poundage on the
100,
brake?
130 pounds.
No, but how many pounds does it take to actually turn it?
So anyway, it's on safety right now, so you're gonna have to put it forward.
Pretty accurate at this distance.
Well, I don't know about accuracy because we're only, how far away would you say we are? We're like 10 yards away from this thing. Let's try a shot a little bit further out. And I'm sure this has just been stuck on here. It hasn't been calibrated or anything that.
How many darts does it hold?
5. But normally with a crossbow, you just have, one dart at a time, one bolt at a time. All right, we'll try a little bit further distance. I don't think it's going to be any more accurate at the further distance.
I really don't like shooting it at my neighbor's house. Shooting on a better backdrop.
There is nothing over there.
I don't know that.
There's nothing over there. And we're shooting low.
That sounded weird. Does it automatically put itself back on safety?
Yeah, every time. So we were shooting low. I'm going to shoot a little high and see if that revs goodbye.
How high did you aim?
I was aiming right at the top of the target.
It was probably off the same amount. Didn't
So-
really have much fall.
So what's cool about this, and the reason why I use targets like this for when you're sighting stuff in, is you've got an inch, and usually they have a specific amount of turns that's 1 inch. But it's shooting low, and it says that there's a thing to move it up. But look at that bolt, man. That one just went right through because the ones before it kind of chipped the wood out already. I mean, that would definitely be a kill shot if somebody got hit with that thing. Well, that's pretty awesome. Let's not waste any more time. I forgot to bring the adjustment Allen key. Thanks for letting us shoot at your neighbors, Chris. All right, well, that's it. That's the adder. Check it out. This thing is super cool. It was a lot of fun to shoot. I still didn't get it sighted in yet. I'm gonna have to get some kind of a foam target. I was worried about how powerful it would be, and obviously that would hurt somebody. That was about 10 yards, and I think, no, that's gonna go right through you probably. That's crazy. But definitely, I don't know if it's worth the $600 I ended up paying for it, but it's definitely cool. I love
little features that it has, and I really think it's a neat idea, and I'm really thankful that it has the concepts that George Sprov put on there. I think that's really neat, being able to fire multiple bolts, you know, and not have to just pack them around with you. It's super cool. Anyway, check in next time, and we'll see something else. Thanks a lot.